Hi, this is Dominic Keating. I played Lieutenant Malcolm Reed on Enterprise, as you probably know, and you are listening to the NX 7062 podcast.
Yes, you're listening, you're not seeing because there's something wrong with my camera. Isn't that fantastic? I don't even know if you guys can hear me. Let me know if you can hear me because I am here. I just the audio setup looked good. Hey, Chris. Yep, so see my audio setup is good. Let me see what I can do about this because this is the new setup that Restream has. I don't need the demo, so that can go away. Copy, paste, duplicate. No, don't need that. Hi, guys. You guys are all going to have to sit. Great. You can hear me. And look how gorgeous my background looks when I'm not sitting in front of it, huh? Right, guys? Let's see. Okay, that's audio. That's fair. See, I can do that. How much fun is that? Flipping it, but that looks much better. I like it that way. Hi, Dave and Chris, and hi, Lasso. Hope you guys are all doing well. It's not recognizing my camera. Let me see. Turning it on. I just put myself backstage. Okay. You guys should still, okay, you can hear me because I can see this little thing's going off. It was connecting. It was just doing this weird connection thing. Okay. I want to share my screen. Let's see, disable camera, re-enable camera. So how was everybody's week? Did y'all miss me? Let's see, video resolution. Yeah, it still just wants to connect to my phone, which is just really weird because that would look really weird. All right, you know what? This is going to be an audio only, guys. So sorry. And you know what really sucks? I put on these fantastic new nails. Hi, Ed. I put on these awesome new nails. I couldn't wait to show you guys, and I wanted to talk all about the new nails that I got, and I have no idea why it's not finding my camera. So, all right. And so, oh, Vader's here, but guess what? He'll probably want to jump up on my lap, and then you guys aren't going to get to see him. Right. Nope. Okay. Wouldn't that be fun? Oh, and okay. Hush, phone. It's my phone. I was actually. Oh, Lasso. Yes, we're missing nail viewing, but what I will tell you, Dave, is that this new it was literally mail order nails, but the reason I got them was because they had supposedly like this super amazing glue that I wanted to try. Yeah, Vader ran away, don't worry. He was on my lap and ran off. So I don't know if that has anything to do with it. But if these nails hold up the way they're supposed to, then y'all will be seeing them next week. How's that? Because they're supposed to last at least 2 weeks, and I'll be getting them, and I put them on for a specific purpose. So I'm just testing the whole thing out. I want to see if there's a thing like, let me see if it's just not recognizing my camera. How to remove a camera? Yeah, that's what it is. It's not it's not a Bluetooth camera though. It's a plugged in camera. Yeah, I think there's like stuff up with my USB things. You did hear Star Wars. I got an email. That's my Star Wars alert is my email. So I guess you guys are just gonna have to stare at the cast of Enterprise because I have no idea what happened. And I tell you I'd reboot the computer, but that's just okay. So we were gonna talk, and you're also missing the fact that I'm wearing my Section 31 shirt again. I can't believe this is happening. This is so funny. In a way, but not. Anyway, so we were gonna talk about Voyager and we were gonna talk about Section 31. So I figured honestly, I decided I wanted to start with Voyager, which premiered. Sorry, I'm still trying to figure out what the hell is wrong with the cameras. I am terrible. I will probably An app is using the camera now. No, it's not. Um, okay. Okay. Lasso, you're awesome. So Voyager premiered, and y'all know, what was it? It premiered in October, right? I had that date, and now I don't. This is you guys, I love the fact that you stick with me, even though like my brain is completely fried now, the fact that my cameras aren't working. And my whole all my patter, everything's totally out the window. Oh, it was January. Okay, so January 16th, 1995 was the premiere of Voyager. What they would be calling now a mid-season premiere or a mid-season replacement. And I was thinking about Voyager, and like I said, it's not my favorite. I don't go out of my way to watch it unless there's a guest star that I really like. We all know Eric Pierpoint was in it. Gary Graham was in it. When those episodes are on, I would watch those. Um, but what I really like is that the reigning Star Trek series always gave that little like champagne, I christen the send off, because Cisco had to confront Picard before he took over DS9. Then Voyager was actually at DS9 before it took off and ended up in the Delta Quadrant. So it's kind of like, when they christen a ship. So each of these got their little christening. Even Enterprise got a christening. They got a christening from First Contact because they got christened by Zefram Cochrane from First Contact. So I love how that all kind of folded back. So I always liked that. I always thought that was really nice. There were characters I liked. I thought, oh, Ed, I hope I'm not disappointing you. It's literally the last on my list. Oh, that's right. Wait, let me see if this works. That's right. Dave was hanging out with Magic Lasso at one of his live events called Fanboys Live. If you're any sort of comic book geek, you absolutely need to follow Lasso, and you need to do Fanboys Live is great. I've stopped by a couple times. But yeah, it's a really fun show. So follow Lasso, follow Fanboys Live. They're awesome. Um, I'm not as deep into the comic book world as I used to be. I was a little more into it before, but they're great, and I highly recommend them if you like comic books. Actually, Lasso blew my mind the other day. I did not realize there were Marvel DC crossover comics. And Lasso and I were talking about the universe is not crossing over, and then Lasso just completely blew my mind. So I like Neelix. I thought Neelix was a really fun character, and I do like Ethan Phillips. So I loved Neelix. I know, Ed, if you leave, I will totally understand, but I just never liked Janeway. I thought it was fantastic that they finally had a female captain. It was long overdue having a female lead, but I know she resonates with so many people. She just never resonated with me. I never liked Chakotay. Um, Kess I thought was interesting. Um, I just found them interesting because they were new. So I always thought that was interesting. The Doctor, I liked the Doctor. He was quirky. Um, like I said, I've liked individual characters and maybe some individual performances, but I've just never, like Ed said, different Star Trek for everybody. Just never resonated with me, but it earned its stripes. It is part of the family, and so of course we're all celebrating the 30th anniversary. Um, Oh no. Oh no, Lasso, I'm just seeing this. Okay. All right. Just I hope it's more in a Superman capacity than in a Star Trek capacity, but I would love to be on Fanboys Live. So thank you. That would be awesome. You guys can all laugh at me and how little I know about comic books. I will bring my Flash comic book though to show everybody my autographs. I do have some comic books that I've autographed. So I got a little bit of comic game, so I would love that, Lasso. Thank you. And I have had Lasso on the show before, so we'll have to figure out something else to bring him back on. Maybe um maybe I'll get Lasso to watch one of my favorite episodes of Enterprise, and maybe I'll have him on after that. How's that sound? Or something. We'll get you back on, Lasso. So, yeah, so that's how I felt about Voyager. Obviously it has its place. Ed loves it. I like elements of it, and I think that's what's interesting about the Star Trek universe is that even if you don't like something, like you don't like a particular show, uh, I know there are a lot of haters out there, but I feel like even if you don't like a particular show, it is in the Star Trek universe and they all have the same qualities. And I always feel like even if you don't like it, you can pick pieces out of it that you can at least say, yeah, I get that, or yeah, I like that. I don't get like completely hating on it. Um, my brother was the comic book guy, not me. So many comics. Yeah, that's the thing, Dave. I tried to get back into comic books. I tried with Superman, and it's just with the new 52 and then all of these reboots. And then Superman had like 50 gazillion stories. And I'm like, I can't. If I had disposable income, I would buy it. The other sad thing is my local comic book shop closed. So I don't even have a place to go now to even look at comics. But I did buy a Star Trek magazine, and my comic book guy was great. So um, but I just feel like even with Star Trek that you don't necessarily like, I feel like you can pull out bits and pieces that you can at least appreciate. I don't understand full on hate because I feel like there has to be at least one thing that you can point to and say, I get that, or I see that, or yeah, that resonates with me, or that's very Star Trek to me, or something. Like I don't understand like pure hatred because you should be able to find some element like Star Wars. I love Star Wars. I have not watched the new series because I've heard really bad things about it, and I'm not quite ready to give it my own watch. Um, and listen, I mean, for me, it's always going to be the original three. That's what I grew up with. That's what I grew up with. That's where my love of science fiction. That's where a lot of my love of science fiction came from. I used to be able to quote Return of the Jedi almost from beginning to end. Um, and the other movies, I just didn't. I thought that they didn't live up to. Obviously, they never lived up to the original that I love so much. But there were moments and there were things I was able to pick out. Revenge of the Sith, I thought had some really great moments. I thought the Emperor talking. I thought Palpatine talking to Anakin and explaining the Sith resonated with me. I mean, Jar Jar Binks. Oh my god, and there was just so much not to like, but then there were these moments where it's like, yes, this is the Star Wars that I love. And it was the same thing, with the sequels. Flying in the Millennium Falcon again. I don't care how bad the rest of the movie was. Flying in the Millennium Falcon again with Han and Chewie. You it doesn't get any better than that after all the years had gone by that they hadn't been doing that between 83 and when whatever that first prequel was that for some reason the name escapes me right now. There was Rise of Skywalker, Last Jedi. Oh, The Force Awakens. There we go. I knew I'd get there. Force Awakens. Watching the Millennium Falcon lift up off the desert, having Han get back behind the controls. You can't. It doesn't get any better than that, regardless of the rest of the movie, regardless of the fact that he died. Spoiler. It doesn't matter. So that's what I feel like with Star Trek. No, I don't like Voyager as a whole, but I will find things, which now leads into Section 31, which is the movie that we were all incredibly looking forward to. I know I am a huge Section 31 fan. Yes, it has a lot to do with Eric Pierpoint and Malcolm Reed. Yeah, see, thanks, Ed. Yeah, exactly. Endings suck, but that was the whole movie. They could have ended the movie there. I would have been happy. But the ending sucked. Exactly. But I think we were all looking forward to the Section 31 movie. I don't think that there was a Star Trek fan out there that wasn't. And so I understand where the disappointment came from. Was I disappointed? Yes. It was not the greatest story. They focused way too much on the special effects and all that zipping around. Oh my god. And this had nothing to do with the fact that I just had come back from the eye doctors. But oh my god, it's just a lot of that movement. I'm like, what are they doing? I can't see that whole fly through that tunnely thing, which where the hell did that tunnel come from? And it's just, and they're fighting, but you really can't tell that they're fighting or what's going on because everything's whipping by so fast. Yeah, exactly. There were Philippa Georgiou is fantastic. Michelle Yeoh, you know, and this is another thing, and this is another parallel that I can draw with Star Wars. And I've had conversations with actors about this, and I've had conversations with so many people about this. There are a bunch of different ways that a movie can be spoiled. Okay. You can have, obviously, if you have a great script and great actors, it's gold. You're golden. Great script, great actors, you're golden. But then, yeah, and it was bad editing too, right? There was some really bad editing in this movie. All right, so you have great script, great actors, boom, you're done, you're golden. You can have a bad script and good actors, and you can live through the movie. You might find something redeeming. You might find something redeeming about it if the actors are good. They're not going to make a bad script great, but they can make it watchable. Then you can have a bad script. Then you can have a good script and bad actors. And again, if the script is good enough, it can carry a bad performance might be able to kind of muddle its way through. And again, you might find something redeeming about it, or you might find something you can enjoy. But if you've got a bad script and bad actors, obviously the whole thing's going to fall apart. But then there's the hybrid kind of thing where you've got a not so great script, which Section 31, this was not by no means a great script at all. And then you've got some decent performances because you've got Michelle Yeoh reviving Philippa Georgiou. That to me is enough because she's gonna inhabit that character. But it was a bad script. So yes, did I love the fact that Philippa came back? Absolutely. But they were trying to humanize her, and that pissed me off. Can't we just let her be mean and viperous? Because that's what everybody loves about her, but you're trying to kind of rein her in a little bit, which doesn't do much good. The Delton, I was so excited to see a Delton, and then you fucking kill her off. I'm sorry. They could have killed off anybody else or nobody, but I am so pissed that we finally get a Delton and they kill her off. And I never remember the name of the Frank Gorshin aliens, the half black, half white. They're always just the Frank Gorshin people. I'm terrible. I don't remember the name of those aliens, but it's like they put him in there and yeah, okay, throwback, to Let This Be Our Last Battlefield, which was a phenomenal episode. It's one of my top 5 of TOS. Partly because the Riddler was in it, but partly because it was just such a phenomenal episode. And proving Star Trek has been woke from the beginning. But anyway, yeah, so like little Easter eggy nods, the Andorian in the hotel room, and that was, but it just wasn't, the script just wasn't that good. It just wasn't. And I think one of the other things, exactly, riddle me this. Riddle me, why did they do this Section 31 movie? They had all this time and it was so bad. Well, throwback to TOS, but I'm trying to remember, Remember, at the end of Let This Be Our Last Battlefield, they find out that the entire planet has been destroyed from the war, and that hasn't happened. That episode hasn't happened yet because um Lasso. Look at you. I am impressed. Lasso gets props. Lasso gets a ton of props for this one. Um, Anybody out there that doesn't get this, and I'm impressed that you know this, another one of my top episodes, For Whom Gods Destroy, the crazy Orion in the sanatorium was played by the one and only Yvonne Craig, who in fact was Batgirl for a season of Batman 66. Excellent job. Way to go, Lasso. For a non-Trekkie, that's very good. Yes, she was green. Very good. And she used her dancing chops because Yvonne was a dancer, and she got to use her dance chops in that episode. It's a good episode. If you only know that because you've seen it around the internet, you should watch that episode. It's a fantastic episode. But I think what the biggest disappointment was is we all waited so long for this movie to come out that we all had really high expectations about how good it was going to be. And it should have been. It really should have been better. I know they were talking about making it a series, but then Michelle won the Academy Award, and I love that they changed gears. I love the fact that they're like, okay, well, if we can't get Michelle to do a series, we'll get her to do a one-off, or God forbid they're going to make more movies. If they do, they damn well better be better than this one. It had its moments. Like I said, you brought us back, Georgia. I think the one thing that really disappointed me, and I wonder how many other Enterprise fans were disappointed. I wish Muhammad was here because I think he probably feel the same way. Um, there was a lot of talk of the fact that Philippa could have been a direct descendant of Empress Sato. There wasn't that much time between when Hoshi took over the Terran Empire and Georgiou. It would have fit very nicely into a line. They could have absolutely made her a direct descendant of Hoshi. But no, it was they literally stole the Hunger Games. Literally stole the whole Hunger Games idea and made it that way. No, Robert, I am going to disagree with you on that. I don't think it was never going to be a movie. Quality doesn't have anything to do with whether or not it goes straight to streaming. Not nowadays. Back in the day when there wasn't a lot of streaming and it was just DVDs, if your movie went straight to DVD, yeah, that showed that a company had absolutely no confidence in you bringing in the box office bucks. Absolutely. But in this day and age, if a movie goes straight to streaming, I don't think that it's necessarily a comment on how good the studio thinks the movie is. I just think that was always going to be the plan. Yep. Yeah, it didn't, yeah, it just, like I said, she felt toned down. I agree with you, Ed. She felt toned down. And that's where I had the problem. Deep Lasso. But I just really think that they knew how high the expectations were. I don't know if they chickened out. I don't know if I have no idea what happened that made it so bad. Like I said, there were things about it I liked. The Delton they should have kept. The laughing Vulcan was driving me. That whole Vulcan thing was driving me crazy. The augment was an interesting touch, and I like that he could go toe to toe with Georgiou. Their version of Iron Man was a little much. I like that she called him a Swiss Army knife. I thought that was funny. And the Starfleet chick was just, oh my God, was too much because the whole point of Section 31 is no Starfleet. So that sort of just really was, I was just very surprised about this. Oh, by the way, just so y'all know, you are now officially missing the fact that Vader's on my lap. So I will try very hard to get this fixed for next week, because then um, hopefully you'll all get to meet Vader. Um, okay. Let's see what Dave thinks. I have so many thoughts. I actually like the movie. Okay. All right. Yeah, I'll give you okay. But just as an action flick, it did not feel Section 31. It was Ragtag 18 to me. Oh, I like that. Ragtag 18 Guardians of the Galaxy. Yeah. Yeah, that's an interesting take on it. That's an interesting take on it. Um yeah, like a dollar store version of Guardians of the Galaxy maybe. I could see that. It didn't really feel very Section 31. There were episodes of Deep Space Nine and Enterprise that felt more Section 31. I mean, come on, Malcolm lying to his captain. Um, back to are we back? No, we're not doing augments. We're doing Klingon augments. Um, when Phlox got kidnapped. Um, and Malcolm like being all covert and lying to Archer. That's Section 31. Did not say it was going straight to streaming in the beginning. It was Star Trek, Star Trek meets Mission Impossible. Oh, that's interesting. I like that. Yeah, it was yeah, they changed, like I said, they changed gears when they realized they probably weren't going to get Michelle to do a series, and then they switched to full-length feature film. Well, they probably didn't know what they were going to do with it in the beginning. But I'm not, but see, that's the thing. If they were thinking of it as a series, then they were always thinking of it if they were thinking of doing it as a series, then it was always meant to just be on a streaming platform. So when they switched over to making it a full length movie, there was no reason for them to switch gears as far as what platform they were going to use, streaming versus full length feature. I think they're saving Star Trek full length features if the this new Star Trek 4 movie ever gets done. Let's see what Dave said. You guys can't see it. I just needed to get a drink. I have my giant water bottle. I wanted Section 31 context, intrigue, world building, clandestine missions. They came through like a cannonball, very much not Section 31. Cannonball. Oh my God. Don't say cannonball, because I have a feeling you might get Lasso to start singing Katy Perry, Wrecking Ball. Or no, is that Miley? I don't remember who did that one. Well, hello, Roy. Did you hear the story that Kurtzman told everyone at the premiere? No, I didn't. But you know what I will say about the premiere in NYC last week? I was really disappointed that I couldn't go. It was in the middle. For those of you that don't know, I only live an hour and a half outside of New York City, but their premiere was slated for the middle of the week, and some of us have our day jobs. I think I mentioned this. Some of us have our day jobs, so I didn't get to go. Now I'm kind of glad I didn't spend the gas money tolls to go up there. The Strange New Worlds premiere that I went to was fantastic. I would have felt like this was a waste of money if I'd gone up there. Dave says the first 10 minutes was very interesting. I wanted early Giorgio and San, some early world building, and then keep the mood dark. I also prefer a short series. Yeah, short series would have been good. Obviously, they would have had more time, and they could have done Giorgio's backstory a little bit more. I still say that they needed to link her to Hoshi. So only not only do I think they should have linked her to Hoshi, but doing a literal Hunger Games ripoff was just not the way to go. Just not the way to go. I felt it was like a live action video game. Okay, yeah, I could see that. Absolutely. Uh, yeah, you actually hiked all the way in from State College like you did for Strange New Worlds. That's awesome. I'm glad that I stayed home. Sorry. I won't singing if he spools up the karaoke and I join in. I keep trying to talk him into coming out to Vegas. I really do. Okay, sorry, that was just here's firsthand account. Kurtman told the story about how Michelle came to him about doing a spinoff before Discovery even aired. She is a smart woman. She is a smart woman. And honestly, wait, Michelle, There you go. And it would have been great, but for whatever reason, they decided that it wasn't going to work. And I don't know if it had to do with the fact that she's an Academy Award winning actor and they didn't think that she would do it. If it was her idea, I don't know. I don't know what happened with that, but yeah, I mean, they had been talking Section 31. Obviously, you can't talk about Section 31 before the show airs, but the minute the show aired, everybody was talking about that kind of spinoff. Yeah, exactly. Then she won the Oscar, the well-deserved Oscar. So I think that probably did, like I've been saying, it probably did derail some of their plans as far as series versus movie. But if they've been talking about it for so long, then they had way more time to, storyboard it and do better. Like I said, I'm glad. I think, like I said, I think a lot of people had a lot of expectations, and everybody was let down. I know a couple people have said that they liked it. Like I said, I liked components of it, but it was so hard to follow. The editing was bad in a lot of points. You're like, wait, how did they get, weren't they just over there? How did they get there? It was just hard to follow. Alex says she won the Oscar, put everything else on hold to come back and do this. Well, I think she's a class act because she's a class act. But again, I just don't think that they could have nailed after the Oscar. I don't, like you said, she put everything else on hold. I don't think they would have been able to nail her down for a series. Um, yeah, I think the movie was the compromise, because if she was putting everything else on hold to do it, there was no way that she would put everything on hold to do a series if she had that many opportunities, which I'm sure she did. Well deserved. Again, well deserved. I love her. I think she's fantastic. Um, but yeah, so I mean, I'm not gonna lie, I was disappointed. I was disappointed. I'm not gonna say I hate it, because again, it was Star Trek and I got Georgiou back. If oh, and I love the fact that Jamie Curtis was in it. I'm sorry, I don't know how anybody else feels about that. I recognized her voice at the very beginning. Oh yeah, by the way, those little caption things were driving me. Those things were driving me crazy. Those little subtitles, but I knew it was Jamie. So to get confirmation at the end, I love Jamie Lee Curtis too. So I love that. Um, they wait. They were at the premiere. Now I am really sad I didn't go. I would have loved to have said hello to Anthony and Wilson. Love them. They're amazing. Um, Wilson was right across from me in STLV. I gave him peppermints. He gave me a hug. So yeah, Wilson's sweet. Yeah, exactly. It didn't hit the mark. And if they're going to do another one like they were hinting at, then be better. Be best. Sorry, being sarcastic there. But be better. Do better. The fans deserve so much more than what you gave them. And I'm sure they're hearing that over and over and over again. I'm sure they've been watching the socials and everything else. So if they happen to stumble across this little gem, um, Philippa needs to be more like everybody's saying, like Discovery season 3. She needs her edge back. Don't try to tame her. Don't try and tone her down. Roy, you had the best seats in the house. The absolute best seats in the house. Yeah, she did, but I was just excited that she was there. So okay. So I wouldn't mind more Jamie Lee. Philippa needs her edge back. She needs to stop trying to make her into whatever, soften her up. Augment dude, yeah, bring him back. We don't need anybody else. The Vulcan guy is annoying. The Vulcan guy is their Jar Jar. Or no, it's a girl now. Outward girl, but inside it's Mrs., right? So binary, non-binary. It's a non-binary Vulcan. So the non-binary Vulcan is annoying. They're real and they're spectacular. Wasn't that Terry Hatcher's line in Seinfeld when they were trying to figure out if she had implants? Why am I flashing on Seinfeld? Um, So there's that. We can do without the Vulcan guy. We can do without the Starfleet. I mean, literally, I'm terrible with names. Augment guy and Georgiou going around and kicking ass and taking names, and I would be perfectly happy. That's really all they need. Because, like I said, I feel like Vulcan is just going to turn into, yeah. I knew that. I saw oh my gosh, train of thought just derailed. But yeah, Lasso, I knew you were gonna go there. I knew you were gonna go there because Terry Hatcher was Lois Lane opposite Dean Cain in Lois and Clark: The New Adventures of Superman. So yeah, I could also go off on a tangent about how I feel about Dean Cain, but we're gonna not go there. Um, he was an okay Superman. Wasn't Nancy. No worries. Glad to see you. I'm just trying to think. Lasso, help me out on this. Did Mark Hamill do an evil villain on Lois and Clark? I know he did an evil villain on the original Flash, the early one with John Wesley Shipp. Is he seriously? Dean Cain's a friend of Fu? That's very cool. I met Dean once at a convention. Very briefly. Yeah, not overly impressed by Dean. But we all know Christopher Reeve is my Superman, so once a girl's seen Superman in action, Niagara Falls kind of leaves you cold, and so do all the actors that follow him. Know what I mean? Anyway, guys. Yes, Mark Hamill was the voice of the Joker. I know that, but I'm just wondering if he did anything live action on Lois and Clark. Trickster, thank you. Thank you, thank you. You're awesome, Lasso. This is why I keep you around, because you are awesome sauce. Okay, guys, so I think we're kind of all on the hashtag Fu is a furry. Here, I'm going to put your comment up because hashtag Fu is a furry. So Nancy, I'm sorry that you're late because we're just about getting to wrap up, but I think we're kind of all on the same page. Just different levels of disappointment. I know one person who replied to my post, my Instagram post, and said that she liked it. And you know what? If you can say that you liked it across the board, then more power to you. I just said it. I said, there you go. Thanks, Lasso. You're welcome, Lasso. Yeah, I think that's great. Yeah, it was one of those things where I'm like, I like this. I like this. Oh my God, what is that? So if they want to redo it, she needs a better team because this isn't a comedy, like everybody's been saying. Yeah, exactly. I think we all were. This isn't about being Guardians of the Galaxy. This is about being deep, covert, Mission Impossible, like covert spies working in the shadows, meeting in back alleys, making deals, not letting people know that you're there, as opposed to bang 'em ups that run through an entire hotel. So, and then, everything else that happens. So that is my wrap up. That's my happy anniversary to Voyager. But I do want to let everybody know that next week, I am really excited. Next week, I have a very cool special guest, courtesy of Cool Waters Productions, because I've been talking to my buddy Derek, and he has a client who has a book coming out, and it's amazing because it's not anybody that I would have expected, and I am just so excited. This is okay. In case you guys have been looking on my YouTube channel, you may have noticed his name because I needed to create the show early. Okay. So I'm just trying to figure. I want to like Derek sent me something. And once again, just because I got like completely. Okay, it's Dave Barkley. And Dave's book is, get this, his book is called My Life with Animatronics. And he was the man literally behind Yoda and Jabba and a bunch of other very cool animatronics. And he's going to be my guest next week. Hey, Casbar, good to see you. Should have been much more covert and a sliver of Starfleet, honestly, not much. Yep. There you go, Dave. I like that. But anyway, yeah, so Dave Barkley's going to be here next week. So if you've ever wondered what it's like to maybe be shoved inside of Jabba the Hutt's tail or laying underneath a swamp, then come next week because we're going to be talking about animatronics, which is something that has honestly always interested me. Anybody that has grown up in the 70s or 80s and watched Sesame Street or The Muppet Show or the Muppet Movies or gosh, all of those movies, Fraggle Rock, anything that had puppets in it. And I'm not, yeah, I mean, you had the puppets like you had on Mr. Rogers' Neighborhood, the basics, but then you had like Yoda and Jabba. So it's going to be a very cool week next week. So, like I said, if you've ever had any questions about how some of our favorite non-human characters have come to life on the screen, if you want to know what it's like to be the man behind all of that, or just because you love me and you want to come hang out, please do come hang out next week with me and my very cool guest, courtesy of Cool Waters Productions, Dave Barkley, because that is what is happening next week. Aren't you impressed? We actually have something happening next week. By then, I should hopefully have my camera issues solved. Guys, thank you so much, as always, for hanging out with me because, as you know, I would not be here without you. Have a fantastic week, and until we see each other again, live long and prosper.
Hey, this is Connor Turner. You've been listening to the NX7062 podcast with